So right now we're gonna cover our top 10 point guards after the 2021 season. Um, so we're gonna start from the number 10 spot, and then we're gonna move our way to the number one spot. Do you want me to start, or you want to go first?
Um, you can start.
All right. So at number 10, the 10th best point guard after this season, I think, is Ja Morant.
Oh, John Morant's my honorable mention. I did not have John Morant on my list.
So, for Ja Morant, I have him number 10. I feel like after this season, he had a really impressive run at the latest stretch of this season, and then he had a big game against Curry in the playing game, dropped 40, went head to head with Curry. And I feel like, he led that Grizzlies team to the playoffs. And I feel like, he just deserves a lot of credit for that. Only being a second year player, and then his second best player being Valanciunas. If you look at all the other playoff teams, everyone has at least two stars, and Ja Morant is able, he's basically the motor, the engine of that team. That team doesn't do anything without him. So
Makes sense. Definitely see that. But yeah, honorable mention for John Morant for me. But for my number 10, I got the one and only, the villain of the league, Ben Simmons. All right. This motherfucker, I was thinking take him out the list, but I gotta put respect where respect is due. All right. So for me, this guy's a 6'10" point guard. Let's just start off with that, right? A 6'10" point guard who has really good hands, right? I know just like what 1 or 2 seasons ago, he was averaging like 20 points a game. No, okay, never mind. But still, Ben Simmons is still my number 10 point guard, top point guard of this league. Just because I feel like he does a lot on the floor. He does love to run the floor. Very, very good. I guess like overall, just a very good, solid player. And I like the way that he's able to defend. Like he's very fast. I feel like he's very quick on his feet, and he's able to recover quickly and even defend the guards at his position. I mean, if you're comparing like a 6 foot guard and then Ben Simmons guarding him, that's a really tough. That's a really tough matchup for the point guard, right? But yeah, that's just my number 10, Ben Simmons.
yeah, Ben Simmons didn't make my list. He's one of the honorable mentions in my list, though. He's number 12 on my list, if you're curious. But yeah, everything you said about Ben Simmons, it's just he just needs to figure out what's going on with his offense. But defensively, he's very special, right? It's very hard. Like you said, he moves very fast, and it's very rare for someone who's 6'10" to
Yeah.
be that laterally quick. Um, all right, so we're gonna move on. Number 9, I have Drew Holiday.
Likewise.
You also have Drew
Drew
Holiday.
Holiday. Yeah, I put respect where respect is due.
So
Right? Drew
my main
Holiday.
reason for Drew Holiday being above Ja Morant is basically I feel like Ja Morant is better as the number one option. As you see, Ja Morant has led the team to the playoff spot, and I don't think Drew Holiday as the number one option could do it, or I've never seen him do it. But I value his impact as the number 2 or number 3 option. We've seen how impactful he can be when he was on the Pelicans, while they had Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. And then we also just saw how valuable he was, how important he is in that Bucks run when they won the championship. He does everything, all the all-stars, all the players don't want to do, which is like play defense, get rebounds, get loose balls. He does all of that. He has a really good feel of the game, great playmaker, great decision maker. The only reason he's held back to the number 9 spot is his offensive inconsistencies.
Yeah, I
We've
agree.
seen, in the playoffs, like he has moments where he has a couple games where he kind of just disappears.
Yeah, like he's shooting like 20% a night. I'm like, damn, bro, what's going on, man? But I mean, it's thank God he has the fucking Greek freak on his team. But yeah, I put him number 9 just for all those reasons as well. Just kind of put him there just as like I gotta put respect where respect is due. But yeah, that's my number 9.
All right, bro. Who you got for number 8?
For number 8, I got the one and only De'Aaron Fox. All right. So for me, I feel like Fox had a very, very underrated season, right? Crazy, crazy. Like I want to say a breakout season, but he did show out this season, right? Even though he was on the Kings, right? I mean, no disrespect, but I feel like he has to he's kind of, I don't want him to be like the next Dame where he just kind of has good seasons but can't ever win the championship or win a ring. But I feel like De'Aaron Fox is just a very, very solid point guard. Does very well, very, very well slashing, has good mid range now. Um, working on his three as well. He's been shooting some more threes, but I feel like he's just a very creative and very crafty finisher, and obviously a very good playmaker as well. But yeah, that's my number 8.
Yeah, I have De'Aaron Fox on this list as well, but not number 8. Um, at number 8, I have Russell Westbrook, and then at number 7, I got De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
So I haven't flipped around, so I'm just gonna talk about both real quick. The reason why I have Fox above Russell Westbrook, it's not really that much reasoning for me. They're both really close, but I just like De'Aaron Fox efficiency a little bit better. Russell Westbrook has led the league in turnovers the past couple years. Out of this top 10 list, his field goal, 3-point field goal, is probably it's probably at the bottom if I'm looking at my list right here. But we know how impactful Russell Westbrook is. He can be really disruptive on defense if he tries, and it's just so hard to stop him. He pushes the offense every time he gets the rebound. I know one of his main criticism is that a lot of his rebounding is like empty stats, but he does push the pace of the game when he does get that rebound, and he kind of puts the opposing defense like out of position. It's just I feel like he just has to learn to slow down, and we're gonna see if he can adjust and do that on this Lakers team.
Okay. Yeah, you want to talk about your number 7 as well or not? Or you did already? Just run it back with rest.
I mean, you basically said everything I had to say about De'Aaron Fox. I just hope the Kings can figure it out because the Kings kind of been a poverty franchise for the past 10 years or ever since they went to the finals against Shaq, and then they kind of just never did anything after that.
Hey, facts. But for me, my number 7, I got Trey Young. Some of you may be surprised that he's that low on the list.
I'm surprised.
But I feel like Trey Young had a really good season, especially in a greater playoff run. I feel like when he entered the playoffs, he was kind of like the villain, right? And that I feel like that kind of pushed him and gave him like great playoff run. But overall, as a player, I feel like he still has a lot to develop. He has to learn how to play. Not learn how to play the game a little better, but I feel like he needs to improve on his weaknesses. I know he's like the worst defensive liability in the league right now. He's dropping 10 points on you, but he's also giving up 12. I think his defense is like -4, which is like crazy, right? And that's kind of why I said like I kind of put him low on the list just because I value, having great offense is one thing. Like, dude, if you're like Steph Curry, Steph Curry has great offense, but his defense is still kind of there as well. But for Trey Young, I just don't see the defense there. He's just getting blown by, getting shot over every other possession, and that's kind of why I have him such kind of low on the list. But yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I have Trey Young on my list as well, but he's a lot higher.
Okay.
I agree with what you said. I feel like Steph Curry, over the years, like he's an improved defender, like you said, and that's because like he put on more weight.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I believe Trey Young last season he put on 10 pounds as well, but he still has a long way to go, obviously.
Definitely.
And I feel like the size is like, even if he puts on another 10, 15 pounds of muscle, that size is always gonna be a problem for him because he's standing at like 5'11".
Hey, it's okay, bro. He got one defender. Ben Simmons can't score on him. That's all, man. That's all. Ben Simmons can never score on Trey Young, dude. Trey Young's in his fucking head or something, bro. I swear to God, man. It's fucking lollipop with hair. I was kidding. For my number 6, I have Russell Westbrook. Right, just a triple double machine. Right, you put him any team, he's gonna drop. Triple double almost every single night. He averaged 5 seasons of triple doubles, and I feel like yes, his play style is more like more for stat padding. That's why I even called him a stat pattern. But definitely I see that he does get more of his teammates involved now. He's not just fighting for points and rebounds, not forcing up shots anymore. But I feel like still has a long way to go. And I feel like this season when he's playing with the GOAT, LeBron, and playing with other stars around him, I really want to see what he can do. And I feel like I put him up here as more of a I know that Russ had to evolve a lot. When KD left OKC, he became more of a shooter, right? He started shooting lights out in their in their playoff run, but I feel like slowly and surely Russell Westbrook continuously to get better at playmaking, better at just picking his spots where he wants to shoot, and I feel like he's a very great point guard overall, right? I kind of just had to put him up there. But yeah, that's my number 6.
Yeah. I feel like Russell Westbrook just needs to learn how to like slow down his game and turn it up when the offense needs to. And my number 6 is the person that does that the best, and that's Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul, definitely out of his prime right now. He's not putting up.
Sadly.
Probably, if you look at my top 10, he probably has the worst numbers, but his impact on the game, you don't have to look at this box score. You just watch how the offense changes when Chris Paul's in the game.
Exactly.
He knows how to control the pace very, very well. He gets his teammates involved very, very well, and he knows how to utilize his weapons around him. He basically tells DeAndre Ayton, where to be on the offensive end. He does he sees that the offense needs more playmaking, and he tells Devin Booker, just focus on getting to the right spots, and I'll be the playmaker. So he adjusts to his teammates around him, and I feel like he's probably the best true point guard in the game.
I agree with
what puts him at number 6 and not any higher is just that the 5 point guards that are above him, in my opinion, are just elite, and he is out of his prime right now. He's not putting up the same numbers as he used to. And that's just but number 6, for someone to be like 35 years old and be the number 6 best point guard in the league, just shows how deep this league is right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree because I have Chris Paul number 5. I feel like, he is definitely out of his prime, but taking a bottom tier, Phoenix Suns team to basically second in the in the conference run, winning the conference finals, I feel like that is definitely have to put respect on his name, right? Like he's able to read the offense. He knows when to slow the pace down, when to gather his teammate, when to rally, right? When his team needs him the most, right? I feel like he's a very, very unselfish player, extremely unselfish. He always gives good passes to the right spots. He knows where the ball needs to be at all times. And he also is really, really good defensively just because like he's like a 6'1", but his like understanding of the game and understanding where the ball is going to go just by reading the offense is what makes him very, very deadly defensively, right? And I feel like that's kind of why I put on number 5.
So my number 5, you might not like this one, and because I know you're a Nets fan, but number 5, I got Kyrie.
It's all good, man. Kyrie's top 5 for me all the time.
So Kyrie, we know how skilled Kyrie is. He just had a great season. If you disregard injury, of course, and that's his main problem, just staying on the court.
Yeah, most definitely.
We all know why Kyrie is this high, and a lot of people would argue that Kyrie should be higher, but the reason why I don't have him any higher is because I just feel like he's been held back by injuries, and I can't penalize the other players in front of him for staying healthy and performing and still producing.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. But yeah, that I have Kyrie a little higher, but Kyrie's number 5, right? But for me, you want to go about your number 4 first or not?
Did you already go over your number 5?
I really want my number 5 is Chris Paul.
Right, man. My number 4 is Trey Young.
Trey Young. Okay, that's a little high.
Yeah, so yeah, I know. So let me argue why I have Trey Young above Kyrie, because I know a lot of people are probably wondering why. Like I said, Kyrie he hasn't really shown a lot because of his injuries. This year he had a great season, but when it counts is unfortunately where he got injured, which was in the playoffs, in the postseason. And then last year had another great season where he averaged 30 on really good efficiency, but he was out for half the season, and he wasn't there for Brooklyn in the playoffs. And then I believe Brooklyn lost. Did they lose to the Bucks?
Yeah, lost to the Bucks
2 years ago. Yeah. So he just wasn't there for the past few years, and then in Boston, he was also dealing with a lot of injuries, and he hasn't been where Trey Young has been in the last couple of years. Trey Young just led this underdog Atlanta team. No one expected them. No, they were the underdogs going into their first series against the Knicks. They upsetted the Knicks. Then they went on to upset the Sixers as well. They were heavy underdogs, right? The Sixers were heavy favorites, and he still was able to lead that team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Had a great season, and I don't think Kyrie has done anything equivalent to that in the past couple years. Don't take me wrong. Obviously, I know his accomplishments. He did take a young Celtics team, but that to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that was like 5 years ago, and he did take, he helped LeBron win that championship. But again, that was 5, 6 years ago.
For me, right, I have a number 4. I got Luca Doncic as my number 4. I feel like Luka Doncic is a great playmaker, great shooter, right? Offensively, very triple threat for sure. Um, for me, he's top 5 already, right? Such a young player, he's top 5. I feel like, comparing Luka, a young talent, a young star, to Trey, I feel like Luka is definitely the better pick, right? I feel like Luka is, just that star player that can do everything, right? He at 18 he won EuroLeague MVP, EuroLeague champion twice, I think. And coming to the NBA, everyone's like, "Oh man, this guy's not going to do well because it's the NBA." But here we see him now. Last year kicking out the Clippers, right? And now this year, not much help, for Porzingis Dog and fucking Tim Hardaway Jr., right? But I feel like Luka's a great point guard. I feel like he's a lot to learn. And I feel like in the next 2-3 years, for sure, Luka could be, top 1, top 2, in my opinion. But yeah.
So I got Luka a little higher too. Okay. So number 3, I got, another one of your boys. You might be a little bit upset with this, but I got Dame at 3. And if you're wondering, we all know who number 1 is.
Yeah, we already know. No one's unanimous. There's no question.
So since we know Steph is at 1, then Luka is number 2 on my list, and I got Dame number 3.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So let me go over. I don't have to say much about why Dame is better than everyone below him. He's Dame Lillard. Not much to say.
Yeah,
right?
Not much to say about that.
But a lot of people probably wondering why I have Luka ahead of Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
and it's the same reason why I have Trey Young ahead of Kyrie. Just if you just look at the past 2 years, Dame and Luka have accomplished basically the same thing. They both got kicked out of the first round, right? The past 2 years. And I just feel like Luka getting kicked out of the first round this year, he still took that Clippers team. That Clippers team was probably one of the favorites to come out of the West after the Lakers, they got injured. So, Luka was able to take them 2-7 with way less help. And I feel like that Clippers team is stronger than the team Dame went up against, which is the Nuggets. The Nuggets team, they didn't have Jamal Murray. They're running an 8-man rotation. I feel like, Dame losing to that team, even though it wasn't much of Dame's fault, his second best player was stepping out of bounds for no reason.
And then
other players weren't showing up.
Yeah, I feel like the playoffs just couldn't help him more. His teammates. I remember the stat was he scored the last 17 points for the Blazers and they still lost, and that was crazy. If only one man is dropping points, there's a problem on that team. There's a problem, right? Wait, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so I just think Luka and Dame has done basically the same, but I feel like Luka's run in the playoffs, like they've done the same, they accomplished the same things in the last 2 years, which is get kicked out of the first round. But I feel like Luka is more impressive. If you look at the stats, he rebounds the ball, play makes more. They score about the same. They both averaged around 35 in their respective, playoff series. But I feel like that Clippers team guarding Luka and Luka still scoring 35 is more impressive than Dame averaging 35, only because you look at the defenders on Luka, you have Kawhi, you got Paul George, you got Patrick Beverley's annoying ass fucking, the Clippers are one of the best defensive team, and Luka's still, managing to take them out in 7, opposed to Lillard taking an injured Nuggets team to 6. That's the reason why I have Luka above the thing.
I see. Definitely. I can see that. But for me, for my 3rd, I got Kyrie. All right. No questions asked, really. I feel like, he was always going to be top 5, no doubt. One of the most skilled, if not the most skilled guard in the league at the moment, right? And I feel like, this season, as you said, last season as well, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries his entire season. But I feel like that doesn't stop him from being that crafty finisher, crafty playmaker, right? This season he dropped 50, 40, 90, which is for sure insane, right? And
And to do it with such high volume,
yeah, so yeah, he's doing that at the same like it's just watching him play is just watching you're just like it's like I feel like you're watching basketball at the peak, right? Like the way he finishing left, right hand doesn't matter, either dropping floaters, hitting transition threes. I feel like he really did improve his game, and to a point where I even in the beginning of the season I was like, oh, I don't think he's gonna do that well because I remember everyone in the beginning was guarding him as okay, yeah, you're the third option of the team, but I feel like he kind of showed himself and said, "Yo, put respect my name." Like like I'm not gonna say I'm the third option, but you can kind of see what he did this year, right? I mean, obviously his entire team was dealing with injuries, but that didn't really stop him, right? And I kind of feel like just having that entire skill set able to finish like I've never seen someone able to get by an opponent that easily or just able to understand how the defender's guarding him to either decide either to drive or hit a shot. But that's kind of the reason why I have Kyrie number 3 for me, right? And then obviously number 2, I got Dame time, right? And I feel like it's a no-brainer for me. I put Damian Lillard number 2 in the top 10 point guard, right? Second best point guard in the league. I feel like that's without a question. Right? I feel like Dame isn't, I guess, like fired up anymore. I feel like he's just going out there to do his job as in, hey, I'm gonna drop 40, 50 points. If we win, we win. Because he's been dealing with, I'm gonna say useless teammates, but basically, like I said earlier, the last game he played against Nuggets, he was the only one that dropped he was the person that dropped the last 17 points in the game. And that speaks volumes on what is going on in Portland. I feel like Damian just does not have the team that he needs to perform at his peak, right? Like you don't need a player to be dropping logo threes night after like play after play just to bring his team a dub, right? I feel like that is just not fair. I mean, obviously, getting doubled right off when he takes a step in half court, I feel like that's equal to what we said earlier about being like tough defenders, and that's kind of why I have Damian so high up. I respect the way that he understood. Like 2 years ago, he wasn't pulling up from the logo, but he understood that he needed to be able to extend his range to open up the floor for his team to play. And him doing that gives me like, hey man, I respect that a lot. Like you taking the initiative to, hey, I need to help my team win. What position can I do to put my team to win? Let's try to extend my range. He worked on that, and finally, now we have the nickname logo Lillard, right? And I feel like that's kind of where he earned my respect. That's kind of why I put number 2.
All right, and then number 1, we got a consensus number 1.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like leagues apart, but
Anthony Simons.
I'm not low ball.
Nah, number 1 is Steph Curry.
Oh, really? I thought you said Colin Sexton. But yeah.
Not much to say why Curry's number 1. I don't know what argument you could bring to me. Maybe he didn't make the playoffs, but when you have someone shooting 4% from the 3-point line as your teammate, it's kind of hard.
And you see, when your team is missing a wide open layup or wide open shots.
My God. When you get doubled in the playing game and then you throw it to Draymond.
Yeah, then Draymond
airballs a floater.
Oh my God.
There's nothing much you can do about that. But Steph Curry is number 1 on the top 10.
Yeah, and definitely. Steph Curry is just an insane basketball player. I mean, I remember because I just watched this video where it was talking about Steph Curry, how Dame said that, oh, this year Curry's not going to have the same efficiency as well because he's not going to have that same open looks. But then Curry turns around, drops career-breaking 62-point game on Dame's head, right? And I feel like that just kind of shows you how good Curry is, like when everyone's been saying, yo, this is the season where Curry's not going to be able to do what Curry does, but Curry still somehow comes out and drops 62. I mean, he's doing something right.
I feel like the most underrated part of Curry's game is the fact that he doesn't really need the ball that much. And definitely. It's not to take credit from guys like Harden and Kyrie, but I'm going to use them as an example where there's moments where Harden and Kyrie and even Luka, they dribble the ball, for like, when you bring the ball up the court, there's only 18 seconds left. And then they're dribbling the ball for another 12 seconds and they kick it out to their teammate with only 6 seconds. And it kind of stalls their offense.
Yeah, exactly.
If Harden can't get the look he wants, it stalls the offense. But Curry doesn't do that as often where He is such a skilled off-ball player.
Yeah.
He'll run around screen, do V cuts, fakes to cut to the rim, run back to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stall the offense at all because, the teammates are still, his team is still running sets without Curry even getting, if Curry isn't able to get the ball, the team is still running a set.
Exactly.
And then, if Curry happens to get open, even a little bit of separation, he's gonna get the
Yeah,
threes.
he's gonna get a 3. And I feel like that's a good mention. I feel like Curry is one of those guards that I've seen that, instead of standing there waiting for his team to give him the ball, he tries to create separation from his defender to try to get the ball. And I feel like that's what really, really shines as, hey, he is the best point guard in the league. It's just because I wouldn't even say there's a weakness to his game, really. Like,
His size, maybe.
yeah,
But it's
maybe
not really much you can do about that.
I mean, he's been getting a little bigger, so it's harder to bully him. He's been contesting a lot more shots, and I feel like Curry's just been improving overall as a great, phenomenal player, right? But yeah, that wraps up our podcast today, right? And we'll be back with more news, right? And if anything happens, we'll be first here to update. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, right? And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.